When it comes to reassembling the adjustment system for the Dayan Guhong Pro M, there are 4 main pieces for the maglev, and then for the spring version that we'll touch upon later, there are 5 pieces. So when it comes to reassembly, the first thing you'll want to do is take the main centerpiece and just slide it on like that. And then you'll move on to the next 2 pieces, which make up the actual adjustment system. For the maglev, there are only 2 pieces here. And all you'll want to do, if it's not already assembled, is you'll want to place one on top of the other and just gently push down until it locks into place like that. And you'll once again slide that on the stem there. And you'll probably want to hold down the adjustment system because there are core magnets in the core of the cube that are going to be repelling from the adjustment system, so it probably won't want to stay all the way down. So just holding it down with a finger will keep it in place while you put the last piece on. Now for the last piece, there are tiny little ridges in there that are going to line up with grooves on the stem. Now they are pretty small, so if you have trouble seeing them at all you have to do is just place the nut on top and just turn until you feel it slide into the grooves. And then from there, you'll push down and turn counterclockwise to lock it in place. And you'll lift up, and it should be good to go. Now to make sure that it is locked in place, you'll just gently lift up on the centerpiece here and make sure that the whole system doesn't fly out. And in this case, it's good to go. So while you reassemble it, I like to hold the centerpiece up, just kind of pull on it a little bit while you put at least one edge in there. And then once you get an edge in there, it'll do the work of pulling up on that centerpiece so nothing gets misaligned and it falls out. And from there, you can just reassemble the cube like normal. And once you're finished with that, you just put the center cap on and you should be good to go. So now for the spring version, as I mentioned earlier, there are 5 components as opposed to 4. Now you start off relatively the same by putting the main centerpiece on, like that. And now for the adjustment system, since you're not using 2 magnets and you have an actual spring, what you'll want to do is you'll take the base adjustment system, or the base part of it, and you'll just slide it on, making sure that the little washer is visible when you place it on. And now for the spring, there is a larger loop and a smaller loop. When putting the spring on, you'll want to make sure that the smaller loop is touching the bottom adjustment piece and the larger loop is touching the top adjustment piece. So again, you'll place the smaller loop facing down with the top loop facing up, and you'll just take the top of the adjustment piece, put it on, and just gently push down until you feel it lock into place. Now for putting the last piece on, it's exactly the same as the maglev. You'll just make sure that the grooves are lined up with the ridges. And again, if you can't see them, you can always just turn until you feel it slide on. Once it's all the way on, you'll push down and turn counterclockwise to feel it lock into place. And then go ahead and just lift up on the centerpiece to make sure that it doesn't fall out. Now, again, for reassembly, you're going to want to pull up on the centerpiece there to make sure there's enough force keeping it locked in place. You put a piece in, which will now do the work for you, and you can just reassemble it like normal. And of course, when you're done, you can put the center cap back on, give it a few turns, and you'll see that it's locked into place and the pieces aren't falling out.